The Stellar Blade demo dropped last night, and the hot takes are flowing. I have a feeling this game is going to sell better than most mainstream Western releases. Yes! And gaming journalists are going to go into a catatonic shock while screaming,
"Gamers are bigots, and they're perverted!"
while in the same breath praising spicy content makers.
Yeah, the gamers are the ones that are perverts and have no moral compass. By the way, check out my feet pics.
Some gamers on Twitter love Stellar Blade.
So I finished Stellar Blade's demo, and I've decided to cancel my pre-order. I'm getting the deluxe edition instead.
Other gamers, not so much.
If you played this game like this, you're just a weirdo who could
Sorry.
who should have their hard drive checked.
If you found this woman to be sexy, you're an offender.
No, don't mind me, Stu. I'm just playing the game. Making sure that the jiggle physics are up to snuff. It's very important for gameplay, you know, that the physics are realistic for me.
Now we switch gears to ResetEra. Remember that site? Well, apparently this game harms some of the people by existing somehow.
ResetEra having meltdowns over Stellar Blade.
Gay.
I live alone, and I'd still be embarrassed to have this on my TV. That intro sequence is so bad. It's just so many elements of fetishistic, infantile nonsense. What the hell is with that slow motion?
My hand.
Slow motion better than no motion anyway. Like, what you talking about, dog? Like,
It's sad. I guess that's what it comes down to. There are really talented people working really hard to make a game that glorifies a fragrantly misogynistic depiction of its cast. It's just sad. I'm not participating much in this thread, but I am reading it. But I have to write this in response to Stellar Blade. I haven't been this disgusted at a game in a good while. This is bad, especially given the developers themselves and their gender war in South Korea. It's just aggravating. Agreed. I tend to be ambivalent with sexualized character designs in games, but everything about Stellar Blade is just beyond embarrassing and gross. Kinda hate how Sony's funding and publishing it. I feel like it wouldn't get anywhere near as much media attention if it wasn't.
It'd probably get the same amount of media attention and maybe a bit more hype because Sony wasn't getting a piece.
Wow, just wow. This is so much more ridiculous and worse than I even thought this game would go for. Edit. I see people elsewhere being like, the sexualization isn't even that bad. There's no voyeuristic camera angles. And I'm convinced I do not inhabit the same world as them.
I have a feeling the world you inhabit has a lot to do with box wine and cat litter that stinks.
God, there's just so much complaining here.
I think we're going to see Sony prioritize how to make money with certain titles.
They really need to because Spider-Man 2 didn't, and that was very gender diverse and stupid.
I would be surprised if Shift Up and Sony don't do more collabos. Hell, when Sony partnered up with Stellar Blade, the CEO of Shift Up bought everyone a PS5.
Wow, what a tyrant. He gave everyone a free game console. What a misogynistic pig.
I want to believe Sony was fulfilling a contract and that they won't work with Shift Up again after it came out. They were a misogynistic developer who punished women working for them for supporting women's rights, but unfortunately, we all know they probably don't give a
ResetEra being miserable with a BMI in the triple of digits. If you want to know what they're talking about with the gender war quotation marks in Korea, check my old Stellar Blade videos with more context than the word of some dumpy feminist with a clear bias on a site built for people with social autism. There's a lot more information there for you, and it's not as black and white as they painted. While American IGN was virtue signaling about Spider-Man 2,
A group of animators on Marvel's Spider-Man 2 discussed the challenges of their work on the game, and they kicked off the story of Haley Cooper, whose portrayal may be one of Spider-Man 2's most impressive accomplishments.
I'm not even getting into Spider-Man 2, I should have reviewed it. French IGN decided not to be left behind.
I'm gay.
This resulted in everyone from Twitter taking notice, so I decided to look deeper. And then I turned on my VPN. Sorry, kids. Daddy has no sponsorship code for you this time.
IGN is already bashing the game for not making its main protagonist ugly with square hips and pink hair, claiming the person who created her has never seen a woman. Who's going to tell them?
Stu, CEO's wife, she created the costumes for Eve and whatnot. How do you like that? That flies directly in the face of every progressive that completely bashed this game and said, it's made by someone that hasn't seen a woman. And the irony is, it was designed by an attractive woman. I bet those fat black chicks in New York would lose their minds if they saw the woman who came up with this.
The design of the game, particularly its character, heightens an obvious bias. We're going to smash the alien, but if we can do it while pleasing these gentlemen, and the result is not really a success? It's not new, and other games have chosen to highlight the strengths of their female characters. But where Bayonetta stands out with an iconic character design
that people thought was problematic at the time. Anita Sarkeesian from Feminist Frequency hated the game with a passion. What are you talking about, dude?
First, the positive things about the game. She's a single mother. And that's kind of it.
Shut up, silly woman.
Or 2B from Nier Automata inspires a generation of cosplayers that
People, when it first came out, said it was fetishizing lolicons and all this other stuff. Dude, get out of here, bro. What are you talking about, little dude?
Eve from Stellar Blade is just bland. A doll sexualized by someone you would think has never seen a woman. The last sentence has been slightly edited for French-speaking people pretending not to understand what we mean, and the English-speaking mom who Google translated the initial text.
So they edited it from the original one that we saw on Twitter because they got a backlash for what they said. Yes, it's all the readers, French and American, that have reading comprehension issues. It wasn't just someone virtue signaling the current talking points of the day. How about you
Take back your country, Frenchmen, and leave the anime alone.
To war, a ponytail so long that they have to put an option to shorten it in the settings. True, nothing works. Fortunately, the animation is there and Eve moves with grace and style that catches up with the painting, but Shin Ji-eun, the Korean model serving as the character's model, is lost under layers of clumsy plastic modifications that make her unrecognizable both in body and face.
Well, of course the face is unrecognizable because it's supposed to be original character. If they kept it looking like her, they'd probably have to pay her for the rest of their lives. 2, obviously the character has been enhanced, for God's sakes. It's a video game. What are you talking about, bro? The Kardashians literally normalized excessive plastic surgery for the last decade. And everyone sleeps, puts them on the cover of magazines and say how they're beautiful, glowing, and doing amazingly. But a video game character that isn't real is the problematic issue.
Kim Kardashian has done more damage to Western society beauty standards for women than any video game ever created. In fact, all of them combined. Prove me wrong.
The rest of the article speaks glowingly about Stellar Blade's gameplay mechanics and whatnot. But even in context, this dude is off the mark. It's actually kind of wild to read this myself in its entirety. There's just so much anger towards this character that's just attractive. Something we haven't had in a good while. This is the new Bayonetta, my dude. This is the new 2B. Guess what? Twitch dots are going to be cosplaying as her. Mark my words. Quote me on it. Women will be dressing like this chick. But this is typical IGN. And what does typical IGN do in this day and age? Stuff like this.
Our boss is clocked out early. Time to post Venom Cake.
Oh, okay.
The Anime Club discusses 3 types of fan service that need to change. IGN opinion: boobs, bad games, and misogyny.
Look what the homosexuals have done to me.
Also, let's take it on another level, for God's sakes. The Fist of the North Star games feature hyper-exaggerated male characters with muscles so unrealistic you could never achieve it on the most potent cocktail of roids. Kenshiro's arms are bigger than his head, but not one gaming site talked about how sexist the designs of the male characters were. Because when it comes to men, nobody cares. Just get that Venom Cake. Not to mention, Stellar Blade will also feature no microtransactions. But you don't hear much about this positive stuff about the game. The only thing you do hear about is the male gaze. Oh, they've never seen a woman. It's like they all have the same talking points over and over again. The male gaze is a phrase literally made up by angry feminists who would rather see women sell themselves for the price of a chicken McNugget meal than be a stay-at-home mother. So make that make sense. in Western society. Watching Twitch streamers play this game, and I'm really surprised, a lot of them are choosing to put Eve in her skin suit. Even female streamers that I temporarily watch were having her show more skin. It's kind of refreshing to see Twitch isn't always filled with prudes. Oh, Moji. You have no idea what women are doing in the just chatting section. It's wild, but that's a story for another day. Moji had a point. Even women like playing attractive characters, not regressively ugly ones. My overall consensus of Stellar Blade, it starts off a little slow. The story's a little odd, hard to follow. The English voice actors are a big meh as well. But by the time you get to the boss fights, the penny clicks, and the game will just grow on you instantaneously. The combat also requires you to pay attention and not just haphazardly hack and slash your way through fights. You actually have to think or recognize patterns. Kind of like Dark Souls, you just can't be stupid. The pole swinging, that seems a little janky. I hope they improve it. I didn't really care for that, but you're not gonna be swinging through poles the whole game, so what does it matter? And her shoes are ugly. I give the Stellar Blade demo 4.5 snorts out of 5.